Pick time for UFC 105. Just doing the main card. You want my picks for the undercard? Sidebar. Okay. Ross Pearson, Aaron Riley. This is probably going to decision either way. You look at it. The UFC probably is hoping that Ross Pearson gets the win because he's their Ultimate Fighter winner. Whereas Aaron Riley is the journeyman who they use to gauge people's talents. I'm going to trust Joe Silva on this one and say Ross Pearson wins the unanimous decision, because that's what they're, looking for. Moving on, James Wilkes versus Matt the Immortal Brown. Matt Brown, more powerful striker, better striker. Wilkes, I think, can out-wrestle him, though, because that's been a Matt Brown problem in some fights. I also think James Wilkes is better on the ground. So kind of been going over this fight repetitively. James Wilkes is also an Ultimate Fighter winner. So you think this is a fight to get him over. That being said, Matt Brown has surprised me in the past. He completely dominated PCL. He had a very good showing against DHK, Duncan Kim. Wilkes destroyed DeMarcus Johnson in the finals, which surprised me. I'm going to go with James Wilkes. This is going to be a very unpopular pick because Matt Brown is a fan favorite, and I love me some Matt Brown. He was my favorite fighter on that season, the Ultimate Fighter, the Forrest Griffin versus Rampage season. That being said, I just feel that Wilkes has too many weapons. I think Wilkes can hang with him on the feet. He's not as good of a striker, but at the same time, I don't think he can be knocked out by Brown easily. And I think he's the kind of guy who has no fear of doing what it takes to get a fight to the ground, be it, pulling guard or dragging, he'll do anything. And if he gets to the ground, Matt Brown has not had the greatest results on the ground. He's not a bad grappler, but at the same time, you look at his losses, a lot of them are by submission. I'm going to take the second round submission out on this particular fight. Next up, Michael Bisping, Dennis Kang. If we were going on strictly who has the better techniques in all aspects, it's definitely Dennis Kang. He's a better wrestler than Bisping, he's a better striker than Bisping, and he's a better grappler than Bisping. Former top 10 lightweight, big shot and pride. Went on a downward slump though, where he has a hard time keeping focus for a whole fight, I think, is kind of what it is. You look at his fight with Alan Belcher, he shoots, get caught in a guillotine. I mean, if anyone had actually predicted Belcher to win by submission, kudos to you, but you're probably basing it on terrible facts, because that never occurred to me. Belcher was the better striker and could have, done something there, but on the ground it was supposed to be all Dennis Kang, and this is the type of fight that Bisping's dangerous to the point where if you lose focus, he can take you. That being said, I'm going to say that Kang wins a decision. I'm going to basically gamble on Dennis Kang's mindset being right, because he is training with ATT this time instead of where he's been training in the past, because he could not get the visa to go to the ATT camp in Coconut Creek. So here's hoping that Dennis Kang has a great outing. Here's hoping Michael Bisping gets destroyed, and I don't have to hear his trash talk ever again. Dan Hardy versus Mike Swick. With the theory one of these guys will be getting a title shot, which kind of shows you the state of the welterweight division at this moment, that it is... We're looking at these two as title contenders, and it's kind of sad. Dan Hardy rubs me the wrong way. He's a big trash talker, with especially the Marcus Davis fight, but just in general. But he's got skills. The man he's a powerful striker. He's a good striker. He's a tough grappler. That being said, when I look at it all, Swick's got the reach advantage. I think he's got the speed advantage. I think he's got the striking advantage. I think he's got the ground game advantage. I think he's got the wrestling advantage. There's no reason for me to pick Dan Hardy in this fight. Dan Hardy is a tough bastard. He's hard to finish. Swick at 170 has not been the greatest finisher. You look at his fight with Berkman and with Marcus Davis. I think he hangs in there. I think he wins a decision. Be it either by outstriking Hardy, which I think he can do, be it taking Hardy to the ground and controlling him there, which I think he can do. And we're going to be looking at GSP versus Swick for the welterweight title. That's a fight that I'm just not even ringing about the picking. I mean, I don't think anyone really has a lot of interest in seeing GSP fight either of these guys, but that's just my theory on that. Randy Couture, Brandon Vera, the main event, the big schmozzle. Randy is the better wrestler of these two on a technical level. I don't think that's overly disputed. I think Brandon Vera is the better striker. Brandon Vera is the younger fighter. He's gotten used to the 205 cut. Does Randy still have it in the tank? How does Randy look at the weigh-ins is going to factor a lot into this fight, because if he looks, you know, drained and sucked down, he's going to lose. If he looks like he had a great time making the weight cut, I think he can win. People say you can't count Randy Couture. People say you can't count Randy Couture out, and some would say at some point he's got to be counted out. You know what? This is the first time I've really been worried about Randy comeback fight, so to speak, after a loss, because he got dropped by Nog, and Vera is a better striker than Nog. I somewhat disagree with the power comparison, that Vera hasn't had the power, has more power than Nog. Nog's a big man. I think people underestimate Nog's power. At the same time, there's no question that Vera's a faster, more technically proficient striker, and the fact that Nog could land shots like he did is a bad sign for Randy Couture. I'm going to pick Randy, although I may reverse this pick as soon as the weigh-ins come around, or, you know, right after I finish doing this video, just because I think when you look at it, if Randy comes and Randy is ready to fight, he should win this fight on the basis of his Greco-Roman wrestling, his ability to get inside, because Krzysztof Sosinski got inside on Vera, couldn't take him down, but Sosinski's not that good of a wrestler. I think people forget that. Whereas Randy is, I think Randy comes in, I think he dumps on his head, I think he controls him. Vera's got a good ground game that would probably keep him from being finished. This is a lose-lose for Vera in a lot of ways, because if he comes in, he stops Couture looking impressive, while Couture is an old man. If he loses to Couture, it's like, are you really ready to move to the upper echelon, Brandon? And I would not be looking forward to this fight if I were Brandon Vera. That's all I would say. This is an okay card, I think, actually. People are complaining about it, but I mean, it's a free card. It has Randy Couture on it, so I think people kind of underestimate the drawing power of Randy as far as the ratings are concerned. Brandon Vera is also a very pumped up guy. All you need to do is get Dan Hardy talking some smack about Swick, and that'll be a fight people will tune in to see. Bisping will be a guy that people tune in to see. So I think people need to watch the card for the numbers before they kind of judge this card as a weak one, even though it's not the most compelling of fights. But that's all I got. So those are my picks. We'll see how it goes. Check the sidebar for the undercard picks, and